Alright, what's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Series 11 team building video, and today we're going to be looking at Solgaleo, alright, the mascot for Pokemon Sun. So Solgaleo is another one of those mons, just like Dialga, that really missed Dynamax and very much appreciated it because the damage buffs, not the damage buffs, the buffs that you get from Max Steel Spike and Max Quake to increase those defenses and special defenses just to make it extremely bulky, make it so that it can stay on the field for a very long time, and then when you put it with a weakness policy, then a lot of its damage is also going to come from a proc off of that. And when you Dynamax this and you go for those +2 Dynamax moves from the weakness policy, then Solgaleo just runs through opposing teams. But again, when you build Solgaleo, you have to keep in mind that you're going to have some trouble against the Sun matchup, especially like Charizard, which can very much break Solgaleo. And then it's also weak to Groudon and Landorus if you're not careful. So you need ways to deal with Sun teams is what I'm saying, and there's a couple ways to do it, but here what we're gonna do is look at a specific type of archetype that I like to put Solgaleo on, and if you remember what I did in Series 9 with Metagross, then this is pretty much the same kind of concept. So yeah, if you haven't tuned into the channel in Series 9, then I suggest you do and take a look at the Metagross team that we had back then, because it's the same concept. But if you haven't, then strap yourselves in and be ready to see how we build Solgaleo. So now we're just going to try and build the rest of the team, so stay on tuned. Okay, so we have Solgaleo here, and we're just going to fill out the rest of the squad with something like a Tornadus, just so that you can get yourself some Tailwind. So this way Solgaleo can become very fast, right? Because if you look at Solgaleo's speed number, 97, that's not slow at all, but it's also not fast at all, right? So it's in that weird speed tier where Solgaleo is, you know, it can benefit from Trick Room a little bit, but it can also benefit from Tailwind. So it really depends on what you want to do. You want to do Trick Room or Tailwind? But here we're going to go with Tailwind. Alright, and then how are we going to support the rest of the team? So I do like Entei in the next slot here. So with Inner Focus, of course. So what's cool with Entei and Solgaleo is that Entei can go for something like a Bulldoze, alright, which can activate this weakness policy on the Solgaleo, right? So that is the main benefit there. And, you know, Entei can't be faked out for something like Incineroar or Rillaboom, and it can't be intimidated either. So Solgaleo and Entei, you know, if they have something like an Incineroar or Landorus, you can lead Solgaleo, Entei, and, you know, you just punish them for that, for trying to intimidate you. Alright, now from here, where are we going to go? So I still think we need something from Kyogre, so I do like Rillaboom here. And again, you get fake out support as well, so yeah, Rillaboom's always splashable on any competitive VGC team, as I like to always say. But now we also have to consider that Solgaleo is weak to things, all dark types, right? So something like a Galarian Moltres or a Dark Urshifu or even Umbreon, that foul play is a monster. And then, of course, Calyrex Shadow, right? So we need ways to deal with all of those. And I do like Grimmsnarl to help us out there, because Grimmsnarl has screens, and it also has a fairy move, which is good against all of those dark types. So we're bringing back the secondary Cloverbells icon here. Okay, and now the team is starting to come together here. So we have something for Zacian with the Entei, we have something for Kyogre with the Rillaboom, we have speed control with the Tornadus, and now we also have screen support with the Grimmsnarl. And if you notice here, we've got a fire type, a grass type, alright, and we have a steel type and a fairy type. So if we can get a dragon in this last slot, we can fulfill the dragon fairy steel core, and then if we can get a water type, we can get a fire water grass core. Well, why not both? Why not have a dragon and a water type? And this way we can have both of those. And finally, this is where we're gonna go with Kingdra. Yeah, so Kingdra needs the rain, right? Well, we're gonna give it the rain from Tornadus, and it's gonna be right here with Rain Dance. Okay, so with this, you have a nice answer against potential rain teams with Rain Dance. I'm sorry, not potential rain teams. You have a nice answer against Sun teams with Rain Dance. And so this way you can turn off Groudon's Sun and then just take away Venusaur's speed, and we can EV our Solgaleo where we're faster than Venusaur without the Sun. All right, so that's the 6. So now we're just going to go ahead and do the EVs, the movesets, and the items. All right, so now let's try and EV all of these bonds here. So we're going to start with Solgaleo here. We'll do the moves first. So of course we're going to go with Sunsteel Strike, and Earthquake is always really nice here. So this is your max Steel Spike and your max Quake move, right? When you're Dynamax. Earthquake is also really good next to Tornadus because Tornadus is a flying type. So that helps there. There's synergy in that regard. Of course, we're going to have Protect in the final slot. Now, in this third move, it's very easy to put Rock Slide, right? And Max Rockfall is very good in this format because there's a lot of flying types. This is good against Lapras. This is good against Incineroar. This is good just to change the weather in general. So it's not too bad. But then, you know, I've been playing around with this one. Wild Charge, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so you can still hit flying types with this, except for Landorus, right? But what's also good with Wild Charge is it gives you another move to click on Kyogre. And, you know, not just, you can't only have Rillaboom, right? Yeah, I know you have Rillaboom and Grinsnarl, but sometimes it's not so easy to bring a Kingdra. And although Kingdra can benefit from the rain, so can Solgaleo with Wild Charge. So you can surprise Kyogre teams with Wild Charge. And not only this, this is also great against Charizard, which is also a flying type. And what's also cool is Max Lightning will change the terrain to electric terrain, and then that stops Sleep Powder shenanigans from Venusaur or Spore from Amoongus. So that's why I really like Wild Charge, because when you Dynamax it, Max Lightning gives you that terrain. So there is some merit to using Wild Charge. But if you are someone that prefers Rock Slide and you think Max Rockfall is too good, go for it. I think it's a very good move. I'm just trying out Wild Charge because I think there's some merit on this type of team to have it. Okay, so then from here, let's go into Tornadus. So of course we're gonna have Tailwind, we're gonna have Hurricane here, and we do want a move to be able to hit Solgaleo to activate the policy. So that does mean we give up Protect, but if you don't want to do the Rain Dance shenanigans, then you gotta just do it like this, where you have Brutal Swing, all right, and then you remove the Kingdra, and then you put something like a Politoed. Okay, so then now you have a Rain team, okay, with Solgaleo. But if we want to stick to our cores here, we're going to put Kingdra back, and then we're going to unfortunately have to give up the Protect here. Not great, but still fine. And then we'll just put the Rain Dance here. But still, being able to manually change the weather against Sun teams is good. So I think there is some merit, even though you do give up Protect. And we have to be careful of Regieleki, right? Because we don't want to just die to that. Now you can put a Focus Sash on here, but I prefer to just go the Wacan Berry route and just make the Tornadus a little bit more bulky, right? So that's our Tornadus. All right, our Entei, obviously we're gonna go the Assault Vest here, and that was normally Rillaboom's best item in Series 10, but I think in Series 11 we're gonna go back to the Miracle Seed. Okay, but for Entei, Assault Vest does fit on this team. So we did say Bulldoze was here. Good speed control for Solgaleo. You can activate the policy that way. You can also Bulldoze next to Tornadus and get speed control that way. So this way you don't have to click your Tailwind immediately. So you can do something else, like take away the rain, like against the Sun teams. You can, you know, you still can click Tailwind, but you can also, again, click Bulldoze. Alright, but you can also click Rain Dance. But anyway, I regress. Sacred Fire is good in the first slot because, you know, that's your main stat move. This is good against Zacian. This is the move that could win you games because you can burn Zacian, you can burn Calyrex Ice Riders. And then from here, Extreme Speed. In case things are very, very low and, you know, you just don't quite have the speed control, you can go for E-Speed and then just quickly knock those mons out. And then from here, Snarl, our dark move. This is good against Calyrex Shadow. Sometimes you might even max the Entei and just go for max darkness against the Calyrex Shadow. It doesn't kill, doesn't kill, but maybe if you chip it enough, then yeah, it can kill, especially if you're next to Grimmsnarl, all right? Because Entei Grimmsnarl is a very nice lead against Calyrex Shadow. Okay, from here, Rillaboom, we did say Miracle Seed. Of course, we're going to go Grassy Glide, and then Fake Out. All right, and then from here, I do like Wood Hammer in Series 11. Lots of things that are weak to Rillaboom are Gigantamaxing, like Blastoise and like Lapras, and you need this also against, you know, Tapu Finis and Rotom Washes. So Wood Hammer, very, very good, especially if all of those things max. Okay, and then from here, I do like Protect in the last slot. If you want, you can opt for the pivot move for U-turn, but I like Protect on Rillaboom just because, you know, a lot of people don't expect it, and it's very good in stalling certain things, right? So I do like Protect on Rillaboom with the Miracle Seed. Alright, Grimmsnarl, Light Clay Slat, not Light Ball, Light Clay, so we're gonna go Spirit Break and Sucker Punch. This is our other dark move that we can use. Again, this is good priority. And then Light Screen and Reflect. So what's also good with Sucker Punch is you can also use this on your own Solgaleo and activate the policy that way. So we have 3 ways to get speed control. We have Brutal Swing, we have Bulldoze, and we have Sucker Punch. If you think you're fine with Brutal Swing and Bulldoze, then what you can also do is get even more speed control and just go Scary Face on the Grimmsnarl, and this can also help against the Sun matchups. And in general for Solgaleo to try and outspeed the stuff. So if you like Scary Face instead of the Sucker Punch, go for it. I think Sucker Punch is pretty good. Alright, Kingdra, so we need this thing to do damage, right? So we're gonna go Life Orb, and the downside with Kingdra is even when it's max, its damage is a little bit underwhelming to a degree. But the thing is with Kingdra, at the very least, we can outspeed Regieleki, right? And again, we can also manually take away Sun with Max Geyser, okay? So there's a couple ways you can do this. Originally, when I was building this team, I had my Kingdra as Modest, and then I had just enough speed to outspeed Dragapult and outspeed the speed creepers of Dragapult. So I had it like this with 108. Then I maxed out Kingdra's special attack because it needs it, right? And then from here, I optimized Life Orb chip with either you can go 159 or you can go 169 for extra chip. And then what you can do is just put the rest in defense. And this lets you live Max Wormwind from Dragapult without screens, okay? You're bulky enough. All right, but I decided, you know, we're still kind of slower than Regieleki because it can still go for Electro Web. So knowing that, I changed the EVs a little bit. So now instead I went for Timid. Okay, I went for Timid, and now so let me reset all of this. So I went to, you can go to 139, which will let you outspeed Regieleki, but I want to outspeed those speed creepers, so I went to 180. All right, so I did go to 180, and then from here, I again optimize my HP value, and then there's my defense. All right, and it's funny how it all worked out. So I still maxed my special attack, not the greatest special attack in the world, but again, not the point. This is good. Still, you know, like against some teams, and we still have speed control with something like, you know, yes, we'll have the Draco meter, but we'll have Hurricane, right? So Max Airstream is always kind of cool. And then I do like Muddy Water instead of the Hydro Pump here because this still gives you an out if you're in a tough spot because you can always get that accuracy drop, and then they can always miss, right? So it's always nice to have. And then we'll go with Protect in the final slot. All right. And then, oh, I just noticed I did Kingdra's EV spread when I didn't do the others. All right, so now we'll just go back and redo, we'll do the EVs now. All right, so let's take a look at this. So now for Solgaleo, how do we want to do this? So I do like to outspeed Venusaur, matching Tailwind versus Sun. So what I'm going to do here is we're still going to go Adamant. Okay, but we're going to go 146 speed. This will outspeed Venusaur by 1 point. Okay, and even if it has Sun, we'll get our Tailwind up, and again, we still outspeed Venusaur, so that's always nice. And if we take away the Sun, then we can just with with Rain Dance, then we just naturally outspeed it. So, and I think that's important, because then we can Dynamax and go for the max lightning and just ensure that we don't get slept by pleb sleep powder, right? So I do like that. And then from here, we have still a bunch of EVs to play with. I do like some damage here. So what we can do is we can go to 180. This is the third bump for Solgaleo. If I recall, let me think. Yes, because after this, yeah, it is the third bump. So we're gonna stay here, and then from this, I think it was 84. Yeah. So the reason why I invested 84 HP, because now your HP value is at 223, and what you want to do is optimize the weather damage, right? So the hail chip, when Glacier goes Dynamax or Calyrex Ice Dynamaxes, now 223 divided by 16 is 13.9375. So Pokemon were routing it down, where now you're only taking 13 points of damage per turn. Okay, so a little bit of bulk there, and then from here, just 1 point in the defense department. And then the rest in special defense, okay? And you might say, can you survive Calyrex Shadow, Max Phantasm, or Astral Barrage? All right. The answer is yes, and I will show you that that damage calc with the Grimmsnarl, right? So stay tuned for that. But anyway, from here, Tornadus, what we can do is still go timid here. And what I do like, let me just check something real quick. Yeah, I knew they wouldn't work. So what I want to do with Tornadus is I just want to put enough speed where I can outspeed the base 100s, and then also optimize my HP for the weather damage, right? And that number is going to be 176. All right, because 176 divided by 16, all right, take out your calculators, is going to be 11. All right, so I meant 175. Yeah, that's what I meant, 175. All right, then it'll be 10.9, which rounds down to 10. Okay, and then from here, just tiny points in bulk, and then the rest in special attack. So, yeah, that's our Tornadus. Entei, very simply, we just want to go jolly on this and max speed it. And then put 1 point in the HP. So that, again, this is optimizing my weather damage. All right, and then 1 point in the defense, because that's all we need. And then just enough investment where I can get that magic prime number of 103, just a little bit in the SPDEF department. And there's a calc for this. I'll show it to you when we talk about damage calcs. But it's always nice to have a tiny bit of special defense, and then the rest we can just dump in the attack stat. And this is the same Entei spread we used in Series 8 as well. So yeah, go figure there. Rillaboom, this is going to be a standard Rillaboom. We're going to go Adamant 252 here, just to do as much damage as possible with Grassy Glide and Wood Hammer. And then we're just going to optimize our HP to 192. This will give us the optimal recovery from Grassy Terrain. Okay, so 192 divided by 16 is going to be 12. So you're going to get 12 points of Grassy Terrain recovery per turn. If you went to 191, then you're going to get 11.9, which rounds down to 11. So you'll get 11 points of recovery per turn. And that'll optimize your weather damage, but we have Grassy Terrain. We want to get the Grassy Terrain recovery. So we're going to put it there. And then from here, we just want some speed. So this will outspeed after Tailwind, Calyrex Shadow, but I want to outspeed some of those speed creepers, so I think 115 is safe. And then from here, just 1 point in defense and a little bit in special defense. Okay, and with the Grimmsnarl calcs, we can live certain things, and we'll look at what we live when we get to the damage calcs. Okay, this is the value of Grimmsnarl with the screens. It makes things possible. All right, again, we did Kingdra already, so now let's look at Grimmsnarl here. Very standard Grimmsnarl here. So I'm just gonna go 85 here, just to outspeed with Tailwind those base 100 speed creepers. And from here, we'll just go. What was our nature? I believe it was careful. Okay, so we're gonna go careful here. What was it? 60. I'm just trying to remember here real quick. All right, let me. I always never remember my Grimmsnarl spreads. All right, was it 196? I believe so. Oh, I believe it was Impish. Yep, it was Impish. Yep, it was Impish. All right, and then from here we had this. All right, and if anything, you can even just do it like this. Okay, so this will outspeed your base 100 speed creeper. So this is our Grimmsnarl spread. Okay, and again, like I said, we did Kingdra last. So yeah, that's the team. Okay, so we'll show this Pokepaste here, and we'll show it at the end. But now let's take a look at some of the practice battles and see how well this Solgaleo Rain team functions. Okay, so now let's take a look at some damage calcs actually before we go into the practice battles. So I did notice something. I was calculating for Calyrex Shadow, right? So let me just show that first. Calyrex Shadow with the light screen, you do live the Astral Barrage. Okay, so that's one thing. And if you Dynamax, of course, you're going to live that. And it is a 3-hit KO with the light screen, so that's always good. But what I also did forget was the Urshifu calc. So watch this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show Urshifu. Okay, and I'm going to show, not Choice Band, Focus Sash. So if that's still Focus Band. If I Sash this, right, it's a roll, it's a favorable roll, but I would prefer I live this, right? So what I decided to do on the Solgaleo was this. So originally it was like this, where I had it to a 198 bump. What I decided to do is just bring it down to the second bump. This is still a lot of damage, and then just invest more in the defense where I can survive this, right? So 100 is all I need, and then now I'm back to, now I have some defense investment, and now I live the Wicked Blow, right? So, and what you can also do is just drop this where like you can guarantee live it if you want. So like just put 52 in the defense, and what that means now is if you have 52 here, then you can just dump a little more in the attack stat, and then now you hit a little bit harder, right? But I'm still fine with this much this much defense investment, so I'm okay here. So now we live Calyrex Shadow with screens. We live Wicked Blow without screens. So those are the two main dark types that I wanted to calc. How do we do against Moltres? Well, I think actually Moltres that's even weaker than Calyrex, right? So we definitely guarantee live that. So those are the two main calcs that I wanted to do. If it was Umbreon Foul Play, that's an interesting one, right? Let's take a look at Umbreon here. So if it was an Umbreon Foul Play, right, that does a lot. And if I was +2, yeah, that just one-shots me. If I was Dynamax, I do live that. So that's a guaranteed live there. But again, you have to be careful with the Umbreon, right? And with this much attack investment, this is like, let's say if they even had some defense investment, like some of them are going like 156 and then 100 in the SPDF, and then just none of this stuff. But either way, it is a roll to kill the Umbreon in that regard. So you have to be careful there. If you had the 180 investment again, then you're a little bit closer to KOing it. But again, the important one was the Calyrex Shadow and the Urshifu, right? What about like Charizard? So if we look at Charizard the Breaker, okay, so Charizard G-Max, okay, let's go here, 50, Timid, Life Orb, alright, Life Orb, and then Solar Power with Sun, right? So with Sun, let's just check Heat Wave and Blast Burn. And also Scorching Sands. Okay, so we Dynamax. Okay, so the Zard, G-Max Wildfire. Yeah, you see how much that does to a Dynamax Solgaleo. If you take away the Sun with Rain Dance, then what happens? Okay, then you actually live it relatively well. I'm quite surprised here, because Wildfire. Oh, that's why. Hello. Okay, well, you still live it. I mean, so that's why it's important to take away the Sun. And if you had a light screen up, then the Heat Wave Regard, which is the G-Max Wildfire, that becomes of course there's still Wildfire chip, but so that's still 2-hit KO. And of course the other one, if they have Blast Burn, again, you still live this. And then if you had something like our Wild Charge, all right, and if they didn't have, if they were just 252, Okay, and then you just hit him with a +2 max lightning, it dies, right? And even though I took away that attack stat, so again, still max lightning, you kill this thing, right? Rockfall was nice, but max lightning still does the job, and now Venusaur can't sleep me with its sleep powder. So there's the benefit there from a G-Max Charizard, I should say. All right, so we got the important calcs for Solgaleo. Now let's look at some of the other stuff. Okay, so this is the Kingdra calc. So notice that when let's remove the Dynamax first, right? So of course our Draco Meteor is killing Dragapult and Dragon Darts is killing us. But if we have Reflect up, we have a role to live Life Orb, Dragapult, Dragon Darts, right? And of course our Draco Meteor can just wipe this thing off the face of the planet. But if we Dynamax, Wormwind has a lower roll to kill us, and there's actually a way where we can actually survive this. And then our Wormwind can almost pretty much guarantee kill the Dragapult. So, and again, we do have the option for Reflect, okay, which would reduce Dragapult's damage, okay. Now, in terms of how we can re-EV this so that we can do it, we would have to reduce the speed a little bit and invest more in the bulk, but I still think it's fine because we have Grimmsnarl on the team, right? So I just wanted to show that. Now let's look at the Rillaboom. So with our Rillaboom spread, let me look at the custom set here. So this is Rillaboom, and the main one is, can you live Incineroar or Zacians, right? So Incin, let's see. Yeah, this is our Adamant Assault Vest Incineroar. That's kind of funny. So this Incin would knock out our Rillaboom. But again, we're looking at the Careful Natured Incineroar. So let's just take a look here. Yeah, and then from here, let's just say like they're 156. But either way, 4 attack. So to roll to try and kill our Rillaboom. But again, if we have Reflect up, then we're sitting okay. So that's the Incin calc. What about Zacian? Zacian, the standard Zacian. So with Reflect we live. Without, it's still a favorable roll to live. So what you could also do is maybe just reinvest this. Okay, and now you live, right? So why don't we just quickly adjust to that? Okay, so we adjusted that damage calc. I think it's worth it. This is the Jolly Zacian. So definitely worth it there. Calyrex, especially with the Assault Vest. So standard Cali Shadow. So that Astral Barrage actually doesn't even kill us, even with no Assault Vest. So that's pretty cool. And then with the Light Screen, yeah, we definitely live it. Okay, and let's assume this was Helping Hand. We still live it, right? So that's always good to know. And then Woodhammer just smashes this thing. So cool. What about, so we did Zacian, we did Calyrex, we did Incin. Yeah, those are the main ones we want to know, okay? What about, who else is on this team? Grim, no, actually that's actually okay. Yeah, the main one was just a Solgaleo. So those were some of the key calcs. If we run into more, I'll put it at the end of the video. But now let's just take a look at some damage battles, some practice battles, I should say. Okay, so this one is against a Zacian team with a Dragonite on it, and there's a Raichu. So that could be interesting against our Tornadus. But again, I feel like if I just lead Entei and Solgaleo here, I'm fine, because there's no fake out, and like he has double fake out, but he can't fake out Entei. So this is kind of a free lead for Entei. I mean, he could lead the Fini as well, but then again, remember, we have Solgaleo with Wild Charge, which can become Max Lightning, and he won't expect that. So if we let play begin, so he goes Fini and his own Tornadus, and I go with Solgaleo and Entei. So this is actually fine because again, we have Bulldoze pressure with Entei, and the only way he can really punish us right now is if he goes Tailwind and Dynamaxes the Fini and just goes for Max Geyser and kills the Entei, and which is fine because then the Solgaleo can just click Max Lightning and then just do big damage against his Max. So I'm fine with this either way. But he chooses, does he go for the tail? No, he actually goes for a Swagger, so this is physical Fini, so that's always kind of cute. But now we just punish him because now we activate the policy, and there's the Max Lightning. Goodbye, Tapu Fini. And we know what's in the back. It's probably Zacian. Oh, but it's actually Incineroar. So that's another Bulldoze and another max quick here. Alright, so he actually maxes the Incin. Goes for a Swagger. Okay. We miss a Sacred Fire on the Tornadus. We do Quake the Incin. We almost kill it. So that's cool. And there's a Max Flare. We should live this, and we do. But again, he goes into Zacian here. I just tried to kill the Incin with an Extreme Speed, but I don't succeed. But again, Max Steel Spike just kills the Zacian, so we'll take the Restricted, right? And the Incin, yeah, you can kill this, but he actually went for Max Strike against the Solgaleo, so that's kind of funny. Alright, so then that's pretty much all she wrote there, and there's my BM there. I'll take the Restricted. So let's take a look at another one. Alright, so this is a weird one with Duraludon and Clefairy, and there's a Swampert here. So definitely going to bring the Rillaboom here. This seems like another safe Solgaleo Entei lead, right? Because there's no Intimidate, there's no Fake Out either way. I know he has a Charizard, but again, I have Max Lightning. And, you know, I can always Snarl if he does lead the Charizard and swap into something else. But so here we go. He does lead the Duraludon Clefairy, so that's interesting. And again, Solgaleo Entei is my lead. He goes into Urshifu, that's fine by me. And he maxes the Duraludon, which is great because Duraludon's not good. So I do proc the policy on my Solgaleo, and I just break the Urshifu Sash, get my defense bonus, which is going to come in handy against Zacian. For some reason, the Steel Spike goes into Solgaleo. I couldn't tell you why. There's the Zacian. I assume this Zacian protects, but he actually just goes for sub anyway. And I just go for more Bulldoze just to try and either break a sub or reduce his speed. And there's a Max Quake. That'll help against Duraludon. Max Whirlwind to Entei. Yeah, that really just doesn't do much, especially with our Assault Vest. And, you know, that's even Life Orb. So that's another very quick battle. So now let's keep on going. Alright, so this is a weird Groudon team with Shiftry, Charizard, Torkoal, and Stag. I actually like what he has here, but I don't know about the Shiftry or the Cradily. But anyway, this looks like a Kingdra game where it can come in the late game and finish things off. And Tornadus with Rain Dance is actually really nice. So he actually goes with Zard Groudon, which is actually fine by me. I go with Solgaleo and I go with Entei, another classic Solgaleo Entei lead. So again, the Zard can go for a fire move here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to protect this turn, just so that he can probably proc my policy for me. And I'm going to try and burn the Groudon here. Again, the keyword is try, because I have Tornadus in the back. So if this plan fails, then it's all right. So I protect the first turn. The Charizard goes for the Blast Burn, so I'm glad I protected there. I Sacred Fire. I don't get the burn. He clicks Precipice Blades, and he kills my Entei. All right, so that's fine. Now I have Tornadus. Okay, so I chip the Groudon, right? So what I have a couple plays here. I can go for Tailwind, and I can Max Lightning the Zard. That can do some damage because he could max too and live it. So I don't know if that's the best play. But another play is to go for Rain Dance, let him go for a fire move and make it do like no damage, and then just kill either the Zard or Groudon. And that's actually correct, but I'll show you where I misplayed it. So here we go. So Rain Dance is correct here. Blast Burn, look how much damage that does. Basically, it does some, but not a lot, right? Now, this is where I misplayed. I should have gone for the Groudon here with like a Steel Spike or even like a Max Quake. Because then the next turn, the Zard can just recharge. So it's not going to threaten me next turn. So I can just Max Lightning it next turn and then kill it. So this is a huge misplay, but because I could have killed the Groudon there, and now I let the Groudon live and it does big damage. But if you were in that position, just click Max Steel Spike, kill the Groudon, and then the Zard can't do anything, right? And then you could just kill it next turn with a Max Lightning, and then this match would have been a whole lot easier. But I misplayed it. But again, it's still okay. So he goes for the Cradily here. I'm just going to chip the Cradily with some Hurricane and just get rid of the Torkoal with a Max Quake. So I get a Spin F boost, not that it matters, because here comes Groudon yet again. But again, Tornadus, I can just click Rain Dance and get rid of the Rain yet again. Just get rid of the Cradily with a Max Steel Spike, get a defense boost on the Torn. He kills my Solgaleo, but that's okay still in this case, because now I have a Kingdra in the Rain. And now I can Muddy Water. I do miss, so Kingdra, great job there. But I get some chip with the Hurricane from the Groudon. Max Lightning onto Kingdra, that's not enough to kill, and that's where I know I win this game, because there's the Muddy Water to finish off the Groudon. So yeah, that was interesting. So other than that one misplay where, you know, it didn't affect the outcome of the game, but it would have made it end a lot sooner, probably 2 turns sooner if I didn't misplay that, because I forgot that Blast Burn you can't attack next turn. So that was my fault. But yeah, on to the next one. Yeah, I remember this game. I'm still kicking myself for this one, but because we played it well, but then we screwed it up at the end, and I'll show you where. Wait, let me just show you what he has. So he's got a Togekiss Goodra here, with Mienshao, Calyrex, Eleki, Instant. So 4 of these are standard, even the Togekiss. So technically 5. I don't know why there's a Goodra there. Probably for Sun because of Sap Sipper. So that's actually kind of cute. But yeah, let's let this go. So Entei Grimmsnarl is my lead, always against Calyrex Shadow. So it's Calyrex Togekiss. So this is fine here because I can go for the screens and I can go for Snarl, and I can even punish that max if he decides to do it, right? So he actually does max, which is actually what I want, because now I can set up a light screen, and I know that doesn't kill me, and now I can just click Snarl, and now we do big damage, and now the Calyrex is at -1. So this is actually pretty good, because now I can just spam Spirit Breaks and force the Togekiss to redirect, right? Because if he doesn't, then the Calyrex takes a -2 from a Spirit Break. Okay. Now there's the follow me, so he's forced to do that, and he kills my Entei. That's still fine. Okay, because now I can just, again, I'm clicking Spirit Break, and it goes on to Togekiss, because I'm forcing the Togekiss to redirect. So now here's the Solgaleo. Okay, so the Calyrex goes back to neutral. Alright, that's still fate, but he has 1 more turn of max. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna max, and then I'm gonna max guard, so this way I stop his max. Okay, so here we go. Here's my max guard. There's the max guard play. Yeah, I know he's gonna go helping hand here. And there's the Phantasm, does no damage, and again, now I get the Spirit Break onto the Calyrex, and now his max is over. So that was a really good turn there, because now he's in big trouble, because now he either has to either protect this Calyrex, or follow me and try to save his Calyrex, but or switch it, because right now it's -1. Okay, and everything here is chipped, so Solgaleo is poised to sweep, or deal big damage. I can't click Sucker Puncher because of terrain, but I can change it with a Max Lightning play. Okay, so I can do that. So there's Goodra. Okay, Togekiss protects, but here's the Max Lightning. All right, we changed the terrain, and now we can Sucker Punch, and now we're in a pretty good spot, right? Because what I can do here, I'm thinking about redirection from the Togekiss. This is how he stops me from proccing my policy. So what I can do is this. All right, so I Spirit Break the Goodra, and he actually didn't even go for the redirection. So I actually targeted the Goodra. That was a big mistake, because I let the Togekiss live, and I should have got rid of the Togekiss, because then his redirection is gone. All right, but I didn't. So that was a little unfortunate for me. And now here's the Calyrex Shadow. So now this is bad. So there's the follow me, and I forgot about that he can do that, and he actually kills my Solgaleo through the light screen, which is very sad. This is why I should have gotten rid of the Togekiss first, because then I can just protect and just click Sucker Punch, and then I'm fine. I forgot about that, so I threw that one away after we played it well. So here's the Kingdra in the final slot here. Yeah, probably Rillaboom would have been better. So there's another follow me. There's another Astral Barrage. All right, Grimmsnarl lives it. Okay, and I killed the Togekiss. Maybe the Kingdra could have taken that, so maybe I didn't need to protect there. So he fakes out my Grim. And there's another Astral Barrage. Kingdra. So yeah, Kingdra did take that. So protect was probably incorrect there, and look, we almost killed the Mienshao. So yeah, 2 plays where I threw the game. So that was interesting. But yeah, so he beats me there. But yeah, I felt like we played it well the first 3 turns, and then we screwed it up by not going for the Togekiss there. So that was my bad. So let's take a look at another one. Alright, so this is actually a mirror matchup with Solgaleo and Spectrier with the Whimsicott. So he also has Tailwind, and his Tailwind is faster. The Zapdos is interesting, and there's a Lando there, so that's also another thing to make note of, but I don't think he brings it. Okay, so there's the Zapdos and there's the Whimsicott. So this could be Fake Tears and Tailwind, and I'm just going to go Grimmsnarl Entei here. So my goal is to get up Light Screen, tank everything, and deal big damage with Entei. Sacred Fire, we get the Whimsicott down to Sash, and the Zapdos goes for Thunder. So first of all, it's running Thunder, that's interesting. Second of all, I live it, and I take it fine because I have a Light Screen and an Assault Vest. Alright. I did forget another thing that, because I'm trying to Sucker Punch the Whimsicott here, but he just goes for Tailwind, so that was another misplay by me, because I could have just killed it. My Entei gets confused, and it hurts himself, and that's unfortunate. Here's the Solgaleo, so another Thunder into the Grimmsnarl. We live that, but my Entei kills itself from another confusion, and we do get a Spirit Break off. So a little bit of a bad luck there, because I basically gave away 2 free attacks because my Entei got confused twice. And I could have killed the Whimsicott, but I didn't because I'm stupid. But here he maxes the Solgaleo. I'm forced to max mine. I Sucker Punch my Solgaleo. Okay, and Zapdos goes for Thunder. I'm just trying to survive against the opposing Solgaleo. So he gets a defense boost for his Zapdos, but I'm gonna get a defense boost as well because I killed their Zapdos. Okay. Alright, so he's got 1 turn of Tailwind here. The Spectre could go for Bulldoze. And my Kingdra's in big trouble because my Kingdra can just die here. So I'm just going to protect the Kingdra this turn. There's the Bulldoze. And again, the Solgaleo goes for a Max Quake onto mine. We actually live that because we have a defense boost. And there's the Steel Spike killing the Spectre because I know it's not Sash. And there's the Whimsicott. Okay, now there's no more Tailwind, so he can just set his own Tailwind, and then his Solgaleo can just kill mine if he wants, or he can kill my Kingdra, although I don't think it can because I have a defense boost. So all I'm going to do is just max guard here. My Kingdra takes some chip, and we max guarded against it, so we survived there. Interesting to note that the Whimsicott didn't go for Tailwind, and my Solgaleo is very fast, so all I have to do is just click Earthquake and I win the game. I thought he was faster, right? Because I thought he still had Tailwind, but I didn't. So I just click Earthquake and there he goes, and we win the game. So this is the benefit of running a faster Solgaleo. And there you can see the chat. I thought we speed tied because he was faster in the previous turns, right? But I forgot that he was still running Tailwind. So I did once again make some mistakes there, but yeah, we still pulled it out. We still played it as best as we could. I just got to remember about Sucker Punch against like Whimsicott stuff, because if they just go for Tailwind to protect, it doesn't work. So I have to remember that. But let's look at another. All right, so last one here. This is against a weird Tornadus team with screens, Ninetales, nice change of weather with the hail, combo with Rotom Frost. There's an electric combo here with Tapu Koko and the other dog Raikou, and then there's a Cinderace here for some reason. All right, so again, I'm just gonna go Tornadus Entei to match to get some speed. There's a Cinderace Raikou here. This is fine because I was just going for a Bulldoze just to get some speed control and set up my Tailwind, which is great here because that's big damage against both of these. And again, the Wacan Berry helps us against the Thunderbolt. And now we just chip the Raikou, and now I can just Snarl against both of these things. But I chipped the Raikou a little more. He Eerie Impulses my Tornadus, that's fine, because I don't care about my Tornadus. Alright, so then there's the Tornadus, and this is where I start clicking Snarls. I missed Hurricane, but that's not a big deal. So more speed control, because I go for Bulldoze. It goes for E-Webs. My Tornadus lives. That's actually bad. I wanted it to die because then I can get in Solgaleo. But I just said I go for Snarl and get my Grimmsnarl back in to try and bait a Max Dragon, but he went for Flamethrower instead. There's another E-Webs. So he's basically wasting my Tailwind, but now I have a chance to get up screens at the very least. And we survived the Max Cannon. And my Entei is surviving everything, and there's another Snarl, so now everything is -2, so this is pretty good. Okay, and then I get up the Reflect just for the endgame against the Cinderace. Sludge Bomb finally kills my Grimmsnarl, and Entei continues to be a menace. There's the Sacred Fire, we killed the Koko at long last. Okay, there's the Cinderace, and here's my Tornadus. I'm just going to reset Tailwind. I don't even care if he kills my Tornadus or if everything dies. I E-speed the Tornadus because I know he's going to kill himself with the Life Orb. So there's the Airstream. Down goes Entei. Okay, and there's another attack. But again, I know the Tornadus dies from the Life Orb chip. So there's the Raikou, and now it's Solgaleo against the world. But again, I have screens and I have Tailwind behind me. Just get rid of the Raikou, get a defense bonus. And he actually goes for Fireball, which actually procs my policy. So that's over because now I can just one-shot the Cinderace. He max guards, but that's not going to help him because his Dynamax is over and I still have mine. Okay, so all I have to do is just Steel Spike him because he changed his type back to normal, and there it is. All right, and then you can read my little chat there. That won't save you from the wrath of Solgaleo. So a couple cool battles here. I misplayed some of them. Some of them it didn't hurt enough where we lost, but we did lose that one battle against targeting Goodra instead of Togekiss. But yeah, let's take a look at the pace one last time and just show again the rest of the team. So yeah, this is what we got right now. This is our Solgaleo Rain squad with Kingdra. Again, the Rain Dance is pretty good against Sun teams, which you saw against that Groudon team. Wild Charge, aka Max Lightning, did come in to play very much. So I am very pleased with replacing that with Rocks over Rock Slide. But again, some of you might still validate that Max Rockfall in general, right? So there's that. Entei and Rillaboom, that's relatively standard. Grimmsnarl is pretty good with the screens. It helped a lot. But yeah, what I'm also thinking is, I can even like replace the Kingdra in case, just because it might be a little underwhelming. I could actually put Blastoise here, and I still have my Fire Water Grass Core. I don't have my Dragon type anymore, but that's okay because Blastoise is really good with the Life Orb and puts on a lot more pressure than Kingdra. I'll have to say you that. And it gets cool speed control moves like Icy Wind. It has Yawn. It has Fake Out too. And of course you have that G-Max residual damage, which is always really, really nice. So I could even replace the Kingdra here with Blastoise. And I'll think about that more. But yeah, let me know what you think of this squad here. And we'll be back with another team building video in the next one. So have a good one.